Hey guys, in this lesson, let's talk about your photography or your images or photos, whatever you want to call them. This is how customers make purchases. They are visual learners. They want to see images of your product, and this is going to influence their purchasing decisions. There's a few different types of images on Amazon. There's that main image that shows up on the search page. Then once you get to the listing, there are 7 or 8 spots there where you can add other types of images. And these are things like lifestyle images or even an infographic, or there might even be images on your package or vice versa, images of your package on your listing. So let's take a look at these different types of what I'm talking about here. Obviously, after you search on Amazon yard sign steak, I see right here that there is this image, okay? And there's actually not supposed to be any writing like this, 30 inches or 10 inches. It's supposed to be a image that is accurately represents your product, takes up almost all of the white space, and it's not supposed to have any type of badging or any other type of background or anything besides just a clean photo of your product. And you can usually get away with also having a photo of your imagery there. Now, Amazon does say that you can use minimal propping, and over the years, what I've seen suppress listings versus not, it usually has to do with whether or not it really mucks up what the product detail page or what the search result pages look like, or if it's misleading to the customer. All right, so let's take a click into one of these listings. And then once you land on the listing, there's a few different other spots, right? I'm seeing here, I can hover over, I can see these different images. This person's image is these person's images are pretty bad, but this is exactly what you get. And then you can click and then this opens up. All right, so this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about images. So I put together a little bit of a deck of the images that I like best, or what I want you guys thinking about when you're doing your images or your photography, all right? So to start, the main image, this is the one that shows up on the search page. It's supposed to take up 85% of the photo. I recommend it be square, and there's not supposed to be any additional items like props, logos, or text. It must also be at least 1,000 pixels wide, and like I said, I recommend squares, so it's at least 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, but you can also do something bigger. Now, those are Amazon's guidelines, of course, but over the years, I've seen certain listings convert better than others. I've also viewed a lot of results from split tests or A/B tests, and the result of this is I've picked up on some common themes of what works really well and what doesn't. So let's start over here on the right-hand side. This is a nice image because it gives the impression that you're getting a lot. So it shows the case is opened up. It's kind of propped up right there so you can see that it folds up. You get the glitter refills and it even shows all the refills behind it. So like this image just looks like you're getting a lot. This middle image, this isn't the highest quality photography. You can do better than this, but the reason that I like this image, and I saw this one perform really well on an A/B test, is they added all the color swatches of what colors they offer that towel in. And this is because when someone searches for your product, if you have variations, only one of the products is going to show up on that main search page. So if I was looking for a white towel and I just saw this blue one, I probably wouldn't click on it. But when I see this blue one and it has these color swatches next to it, that's when I see that there are other options available. This one on the left performed quite well. It's probably for a few reasons. The baby's really cute and smiley. It has nice bubbles. The red toy grabs your eye. This photo was never suppressed by Amazon, but it's good to acknowledge that technically this one does violate Amazon's terms of service. Here are a couple of other ones, and I want to talk about what I like and what I don't like about these particular images for main images. What I like is if you search like Jenga towers, they all look the exact same. They all just like stand straight up, right? And it's like you just saw the same thing for like 1,000 times. But this one, it's falling over. So as a result, it kind of like grabs your attention or grabs your eye. I can also see it comes with the case and even like a little scorecard. Again, they're not supposed to have this little square around here, but Amazon let them get away with it for a while. I like this over here for a number of reasons. As you can imagine, it's bright colors, so it catches your eye in the search results. You see that you're getting the ebook, even though, again, I don't think you're really supposed to do this. You see the box that it comes in, as well as this little extra bonus gift. So the goal of those main images were to get them to click on your listing. Once they land on your listing, now we're trying to get them to convert. And in order to get them to convert, we need to make sure that they don't have any objections and that everything is clear. When you go and shop at a store, you can pick the item up, you can see how big it is, you can hold it, you can feel it, you can see what the box looks like, and you can have a better understanding of what you're getting. When you're shopping on Amazon, you don't get that. So we need to make sure we're answering all of the customer's questions before they ask them, because a confused customer is a customer that doesn't convert. Over here, I can glean a lot from just this one image. I can see about how tall it is. It's taller than a grown female. I can see that it folds up. I can see that it has a little door in the front. So just from this one photo, I have a pretty good idea. Over here on the right, I see that also I get instructions and a carrying case, and I can see that all the little sticks fold up. I like these, or they answered the questions before I have them for a few reasons. If I just saw this clear fidget spinner, I wouldn't know that it lights up when you spin it like that. So I like this photo for that reason. It's showing you that it lights up. And over here, it's important for some customers what the packaging looks like, especially if it's something that might be given as a gift. So with this one, you can see that this is clearly the packaging, and the packaging looks nice, and then it shows you that this is what's inside. Now, since these images are not the main image, since they're on your listing, it is okay to have designs on your images like these. Here's some more photos that I really like. This one over here, I like it a lot because it's like an us versus them style photo. This towel is 60% thicker than the competitors, but if I were just to say that this towel is 400 GSM, which is a measurement of weight of material, and the competitors are 180 GSM, like you would be like, I don't know what the heck that means. But by taking a photo of them side-by-side comparison, you can see that the bottom one is obviously thicker and looks more fluffy than what the competition does. Where I'm looking at this TP again, I like this TP because it calls out the different benefits of this particular item. I would never have realized that you could color on here. I never would have realized there's little pockets in here. So overall, they did a nice job with the TP. And then this image, it does a nice job by calling out what the dimensions are and that you get the bonus washcloth. And again, since these photos are inside of the listing, not on the main search page, everything that you see here is allowed and completely white hat. I like images like this once you land on listing. Now, it's good to acknowledge that both of these are low quality images and fairly ugly. However, both of them won on a split test. And I believe the reason for that is like most people probably wouldn't understand how to use a watermelon slicer without seeing this image. But by seeing this image without reading any text, you can get a pretty good idea how to use this thing. And the same thing with the garlic peeler. If I'd never seen this and you handed me a little tube and told me to peel garlic, I would not know how to do it. But after just looking at this really simple little infographic thing here, I can see you put it in there, you roll it around, and then you spit out a peeled garlic on the other side. So again, it's a nice way, like the sayings of pictures worth 1,000 words. I think that's very true in situations like this, because you want them to be able to understand everything that they're getting and how it works without having to read the description. A couple more examples of that. It's nice they call out the main value propositions. Without having to read, I can see that this little child's toy makes music. I like that. Another type of photo that I want to talk about is lifestyle photos, okay? So lifestyle photos are, instead of just normal product photography, lifestyle photos are the type of photos that people can imagine themselves like going about the normal days and how making this purchase would affect those days, okay? And of course, you want it to positively affect those days. So for example, if I was a mother and I was looking at this, maybe I'm thinking, okay, my baby's always cold and crying when it gets out of the bath. This baby looks happy and it's fun and it's a happy baby that's not crying. What else more do you want? Or over here on the right with the yoga towel or the yoga mat, You know, like instantly look at this picture and it's like, like it looks beautiful, right? And then the shopper can kind of transform themselves into thinking, man, if I were to have that yoga towel, I'd wake up every morning and I'd be on the beach and I'd be doing yoga and life is great. And all I have to do is make this one purchase and I'll transform my whole life. That's ultimately the psychology that goes on behind these lifestyle photos, even though I'm obviously exaggerating a little bit, but that is the same thing that you want to be able to do to your customer. A couple other quick examples, you know, these glasses, if they were just on a white background, they don't really look that cool. They look like glasses. But in this photo, all of a sudden this looks hip and cool and they're drinking cool hipster beers and, you know, everything about this just looks kind of like neat. And I mean, I would go to this. This looks cool. Whereas if you just show me a wine glass, it's like, oh, a glass. Really the same types of concept here, right? This Bluetooth speaker kind of transforms your life onto the beach. I probably now assume that it's waterproof or dust or sand proof, and it's a great thing to take to the beach with me. The last style of image I want to talk about is this competitive matrix style photo. And obviously what we're doing here is comparing our product versus our competitors' products. And the reason that these tend to do well is Amazon's a great place for doing competitive shopping. It's a great place to see what other people are selling and decide which one's going to ultimately be best for you. So since people are going to see all your competitors anyway, you might as well control the narrative and choose what they think about or read about with your competitors. So, you know, like if you are better at certain areas than your competitors, go ahead and call that out in a competitive matrix to help the customer understand why your particular product is the best. All right, so now you're probably thinking, okay, where do I get these photos? And there's a few different ways to go about getting these. Amazon now actually offers a photography service. From what I've seen, they're not very good, but I think they only charge, I know they charge $60. I forget if that's per photo or for all the photos, but they're not great. You can of course do it yourself, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video. You could hire a local photographer. Oftentimes you can find them on Craigslist or just by Googling photographer in your city name. And then the other two places that I recommend are either the Jungle Scout Market, which you can click on the photography section. And these are all pre-vetted Amazon experts. They're familiar with doing product photography specifically for Amazon sellers. And a bunch of them have a whole bunch of reviews. So you can just kind of read through the reviews and see whose photos that you ultimately like. The last place I'll recommend, productphotography.com. These guys are very good at product photography. You do pay for it. It's quite a bit more expensive. But if you're really proud of your product and you really want to invest in it to make sure it does well, productphotography.com is a great resource. Now, whoever you go with, it's good to be extremely clear about what you expect from your photography, all right? So like if there's any certain types of angles you want, if you want a certain color background, if you want lifestyle photography, all of a sudden it gets much more complicated. Where do you want it at? A beach, a studio, in a kitchen? Do there need to be models? You know, how do you want them to deliver the photos? So that's one of the benefits, I think, of working with some of these Amazon type photographers is they know and they understand a lot of this. They can help walk you through it. But if not, I mean, most of them are going to deliver high quality images, you know, no matter what. So that wraps up product photography and your images. If I leave you with anything, I would say that if you're on the fence of whether or not you need to hire a professional or not, keep in mind, or actually not even like hire a professional or not, or whether you should do this type of photography or that type of photography, keep in mind that you can always change your product listing forever. So don't feel like you have to get it right the first time. If you just invested a bunch of money to get your product in and you don't want to pay for photography right now, that's perfectly fine. You can do it yourself. You can also, you know, start with some images right now and add lifestyle imagery later, okay? So the most important thing is the different items that I discussed about having something that's visually interesting and breaks up the patterns, answering all their questions once they land on your listing, showing why your product's better than the competitors. And if you just do those things, Even if it's not the most high-end or professional photography, you can oftentimes get quite high conversion rates that do well. So enjoy.